Hello, I'm Larry Williamson, CEO of Agriculture for Life. We're going to talk about agriculture in a way that you might not have thought about. These are the sweet faces behind Crave. We all love Crave. Most people would probably think about cupcakes and special treats and sort of rewarding yourself and your loved ones on special occasions. But I want to talk to you a little bit more of some of the background behind the story of Crave. And I happen to know there's a little farming exposure in your life. So tell us about where you grew up and what you did growing up and how this is going to connect to where we are now. So first of all, we'll unpack that. Where did you grow up?
So Carolyn and our sister Antoinette and our mom, our dad has passed away, but we grew up outside of High River. We were fourth generation farmers that grew up on the land that was homesteaded by the McIntyres. And so we grew up, we were exposed to farming, ranching, every component of it. We loved it. We always say when people say, well, I could never run a business with my sister. And, Carolyn and I always say, well, if we didn't get along, we had no one to play with. So we might have an argument, but we would always make up and carry on. And I think that really is a great testament to our relationship and how we get along and how we treat each other. So agriculture has been a huge part of our life. As we got older, I became more involved in the ranching component. And so I was outside and moving cattle and doing all those kind of things. And then Carolyn was helping Mom in the kitchen.
Farm families teach you to work together because you have to work together. And sometimes moving cattle together is an experience on its own.
Oh, yeah.
So, that, I can see that, working together as sisters, that was bred right into you as farm girls. So, so tell us a little bit about, you're in the kitchen, probably making a lot of meals to keep the farm going.
So I was not the horse gal. So I got bucked off when I was 5 once, and then I was a little bit traumatized. So anyways, I always just loved to be in the kitchen with my mom, and I loved to bake. And I can remember sitting on this little wooden stool we had at the farm and like sitting at 7 years old and making shortbread by hand. So our grandfather liked the shortbread whipped by hand, and so that's how I made it. So then that always used to be the thing that when they were out moving cattle or doing whatever, I probably was staying at home with my mom and just loved to bake. So it was just what I liked to do.
Yeah,
so.
well, and that comes, again, it's that farming story, right? So, the farm family works together and, some are out in the field, some are working with the livestock, some are getting the meals going. And so bringing all of that together is, again, I'm going to keep playing on it, the sweet story. I'm sure you haven't heard that before, but it's that real sweet story of, oh my goodness, look where you are today. But tell me a little bit about how you got started, or how did we get to where we are today? I say we, but you.
I always used to, when I would go somewhere, I would take baking. No matter where I went, I would just always go.
So you were invited to everything.
I always would just take things. It was just my thing. I just always baked. I always brought stuff.
My friends from university, remember, Carolyn bringing cookies when she came up to visit me, right?
So
always.
The love, you were born to
I loved
bake.
it. I loved to make people happy through really delicious baking. And so once we went to our cousins and our cousin was like, Carolyn, you should really open a bakery. And I was like, yeah, I've had $1 million. I just would go and open a little bakery and make everybody happy. And then those words kind of started sinking in, and I was like, I started to do the research and I kind of was like, well, is this what I want to do and be in the corporate world? And, kind of started to see, well, it actually doesn't take $1 million and we probably could open up our own business. And so we actually started out super small and tried to go into the farmer's market. Again, when we were kind of starting out 20 years ago, there wasn't social media, there was no farmers markets. Somebody said to us once, well, why didn't you start a food truck? We're like, it's 20 years ago, food trucks didn't exist back then. It wasn't a thing. It was brick and mortar or that was kind of it. And so, we just kind of took a leap of faith, and I asked Jody, I was like, do you want to start this business with me? And we found this little retail store in Kensington, and we were like, oh my goodness, it's so big. Like, what are we ever going to do? And then the story just kind of goes from there. We opened up, and it'll be 18 years in September.
Wow, and going strong, right? So the secret, we'll say the secret behind your success, Alberta agriculture, and amazing ingredients. So what are some of those ingredients within the cupcakes that come directly from the farm?
For sure, we use Foothills Creamery butter, so it's the only butter that we use in all of our products. So in the buttercream, it's definitely butter, and then there's icing sugar and cream. So we use whipped cream. The dairy is there. In our chocolate cupcakes, we use eggs, we use wheat, and we use canola oil would be, the big ones, and of course sugar. So those are kind of the big ones from the agriculture world that we use all the time.
Absolutely, and fundamental to Alberta agriculture.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. We always think, we still have land, like we still actually own farmland, and we're like, we should just like turn it all to wheat, and then that could be our flour, and we could, we're like, we could like grow carrots at the farm and use those in our carrot cake.
Because you've got a lot of time, I'm sure.
Yeah, like it just doesn't always work out like that. But, we're a real believer in just like really trying to source as local as we can when we do some of our fun cravings of the month and things like that. So
yeah, and I think that as you say, it's time. I mean, I'm sure that running your business is a large undertaking as it is. So just being able to intersect with Alberta farmers that are already growing and producing the food and bringing that into your products that are so popular and reaching your clientele, that is a wonderful story again of we're all agriculture. Growing up on the farm, I can imagine, you were happy. And so that's, you've brought the values of that farm life into the business.
Yeah, and to work hard, I think, lots of people, don't really also do that. It's like, you got to work hard. And, when you work on a farm and, every day it's like, oh man, I hope it's raining so we get new shoes this fall kind of thing. Yes. Do you know what I mean? Like you work hard and you really have that appreciation for just digging deep and just keeping with it. And so 18 years later we're still at it and loving every minute of it
and continuing to grow.
Yeah, it's exciting.
Right. Yeah, congratulations.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you very much for having us here today, and look forward to many more tasty conversations.